and how you think about it.
My bad, Noah. You're right.
He's
You're
got
right.
great confidence and he's smart. Modi in a very
Hold on here. Let's go ahead and start this one though.
Since then, in that span of time, what is the one big thing you've learned about wielding power?
Well, I think you have to do it judiciously. I think that experience is good. I always say that potential is far more important. In other words, having ability is far more important than experience, but having both is very good. And I learned a lot during the first administration. And I was told just the other day, because, we had a tremendous G7 and very dominant G7. We got what I wanted. And somebody said the other day that this is a far more powerful administration or term than the first one. And we had a good first term. We had the best economy. We had a lot of good things happening. We rebuilt the military. We did a good job. But I feel it's a more powerful term than the first one. Now, that comes with experience. It also comes by having somebody precede you who was a disaster. I mean, the man was a disaster. And so when you compare to somebody like that, you look maybe better than you are. That's possible. But I feel that it's a very powerful administration right now.
You mentioned the G7. You saw a number of world leaders. You walked in and you said, "I'm the boss."
Yeah.
How many of them believe that?
All of them.
All of them.
But I was just being funny.
I know he was just being funny, but let's be real. All of them got to agree that United States is the boss. I mean, we are the world power, strongest military in the world. I mean, let's be real. We can decimate their economies anytime we want, cut them off, leave them to Russia anytime we want, and they don't want that. So yes, we are the boss. With a heavy hand, of course.
What happened is they're all sitting, and then I walked into the room, and it was just sort of funny because it's a very long table, but there's only 7 of them. The table was meant for 30 people, so the whole end of the table looked like almost a perfect podium type setup, right? And I saw them all sitting. They're all well-known figures, right? The heads of countries. We had a couple of others in there too, as you know. Some, as an example, Modi of India, great guy. A lot of people came. They're allowed to come if they want and sit. But I walked in there, these leaders, and I just looked at them. I said, "I'm the boss," and you remember. And that was done as a joke. This thing got carried all over the world. I can't believe it. I was just being cute, funny. I wasn't trying to be the boss.
You have experience, obviously, with world leaders from your 2 terms. What's your definition of a great leader? How do you define?
Well, you have so many different types of leaders. Yesterday, as an example, I'll mention the name again because pretty great. All my life I've watched India. They just kept changing. Somebody would be there for 6 months and then a year. And then all of a sudden, Prime Minister Modi ends up there. He's been there for more than 12 years, very solid. And he does it through there's a great calmness. And yet he's not a calm person. He's a very tough guy. I know him very well. And you have such different leaders. I watched Brazil, the leader who I know a little bit. He's a very volatile person.
You're not a fan of Lula, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not a fan or not a fan. I don't think about him, to be honest with you. I don't really think about him. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, considering that you put what was it, a 50 to 70% tariff on all of their coffee? Oh, the tariff was so extreme that the Brazil government had to give government subsidies to the companies to help pay the tariffs. Actually, Brazil was literally one of the few countries that was literally paying the tariffs out of their pocket.
But he's a different kind of a person now, very volatile. I watched as he made a speech, and it was a very volatile, and it's fine. It's all different types. So when you say about leaders, when you say about, what do they all have in common? Look, they're all smart. You can't get to that level without being smart. Who's very smart is President Xi of China. He's a very smart man. You don't get to those levels where you're running a country, even if it was a small country. You have something special. Now, in some cases, it doesn't work out, but you need something special. It's not an easy thing to do.
What is it about Xi that you find most admirable?
So we have a very good relationship. And you probably heard me say yesterday, I said, I want to thank him because he didn't get involved with the whole thing with Iran. He could have gotten involved. He could have sent a nice oil ship.
I mean, let's be real. He kind of did get involved. Remember, it was Russia and China that was giving Iran the satellite images to hit our bases in the area. So yeah, they kind of got involved. And but I'm gonna be real with you, they didn't send weapons. So I guess that's cool. As far as we know, they didn't send weapons. But what we do know is for sure they were sending satellite images to help Iran strike our military assets, which they did successfully, sadly.
Surrounded by 12 destroyers and see if he could blast his way through the blockade, which was an unbelievable military. I think it's going to go down as one of the great military maneuvers. It was every bit as important as all the bombing we did. It really, they were dying. They had no money, no nothing for months. But President Xi, I asked him, I said, I'd really appreciate you not getting involved. And he was great. He didn't get involved. And I think if somebody else would have said that, I don't think somebody else would have even asked him that, but I did. I get along with him well. He's a strong man. He's no games. He won't sit down and say, "Oh, what a beautiful day. This is a wonderful day, Mark. Look how beautiful. Look at the sunshine." There's none of that stuff. It's like all business, which I like. I think it's great.
Is there something about the Chinese system that you think advantages him and his country that you wish you had here?
Well, it's actually supposed to be a disadvantage. We have the entrepreneurship and all the things you read about, but
the only thing I would ever want to copy from the Chinese is the focus on infrastructure, and that's pretty much it. Like the Chinese have an incredible infrastructure. Like this, just keep it real. If that's the only thing we could copy from China, would be focus on infrastructure instead of focus on foreign wars. And that's why they're kind of kicking our ass right now, is because while we're over here destroying our country, getting into wars, they're over here building up their country and taking all of our allies that we low-key pissed off.
They're there just about as quick as we are. You go to something's hot, and we get there, and the Chinese are standing there before us, or we beat them by a little bit. But I'll tell you, we're beating them on AI. We have the strongest military in the world. We have the most powerful military in the world. He admitted to me, you have the most powerful.
No, for sure we get the strongest military in the world, but here's the problem: the strongest military in the world couldn't even remove Iran off the Strait of Hormuz. It's like, bro, the strongest military in the world could not soundly defeat the 16th strongest military in the world, and that's Iran. You might have to up their ranking since they was able to survive us like this.
I did a great job. I rebuilt our military in the first term and did it well. Look, take a look at Venezuela. 48 minutes, the whole thing was over. 48 minutes. And by the way, now we have a great relationship, and we've paid for that war with Venezuela many, many, many times. We're taking out millions of barrels of oil, and we're making them more money than they've ever made before.
Jay, you do got a point, though. If we did start doing what China did, the climate people are going to start losing their minds. If we start focusing on rare earth refinery, oh my goodness, the environmentalists are just going to, bro, they're going to constantly harass us over it, okay? This is like kind of one of the reasons why we can't be as successful as China when it comes to infrastructure, because we got environmentalists and we actually care about our national parks. We care about pollution and we care about air quality. So we just care too much in America, apparently, which I'm absolutely okay with.
Before all the big oil companies are moving in, it's amazing. There's no place with that kind of oil. I guess us, maybe we have the most. And they're probably second or third.
Obviously, if I ask you who are the two greatest or leaders you like the most on the world stage, I'd assume one of them is Xi.
Yeah,
and shout out to my man Noah Jordan for starting us off on the super chat. He says, check out the Chinese dude that made flying swords. Yeah, and he was able to control them. Like he made a remote control with his hand, and he made a whole bunch of drone flying swords. I forgot where he got that from. He said he was inspired by something, but I forgot. I don't know. Must have been some anime or something.
I think in terms of leadership, I think that's true.
Well, who's the other? When you think of power and leverage and the ability to execute on that.
Well, I think Modi is very good. Yeah. And they've had some very good numbers announced. He stays out of wars, which is smart. He's 1.5 billion people. He's actually the biggest. India's actually the biggest. And Modi's a great leader. And we do a lot of business with them, but now we do fair business. They used to really rip us off. I don't blame them for that. We had stupid politicians, but that allowed that to happen. But now we do a lot of business. They're not that happy about it because they used to do a lot better. So, but Modi's great. President Xi is great. Classics, I mean, if you were going to make a...
Oh, hold on, man. And shout out to my man, Noah. Of course, I got to give you your celebration. Raise a blade. Whoops. All right, now. All right. Let's get back to it.
Movie about either one of them.
I have too much.
You wouldn't be able to find the man in Hollywood. I'm telling you, it's like, as an example, the look of She's got a great look. Looks don't matter, right? We don't like that. They say don't talk about looks, but he's he's tall. He's 6'2".
We're in the glaze.
He's got a great stature.
Yo, we're in the glaze, bro. Like Trump. All right, bro. So I guess we just also kind of took an L to Iran and China in this trade war because he had such a tough stance against China. Now he's over here glazing China as if like they're our only. Like, gee, man, you're just such a strong, powerful leader. You are looking a little tall, man. You're looking 6'3" today, G. You're looking a little 6'3" today. Like, yeah, man, can you help me out with those rare earth minerals, please? Like, bro.
He's got great confidence and he's smart. Modi in a very different way, just highly respected. I've seen, I know the real Modi is a very tough cookie. I'll tell you, I got to know some that I didn't know very well in Pakistan. You have the field marshal, who's great. Munir, he's great. And you have the prime minister, and they just get along great. I figured, well, maybe the military guy would be, he totally respects the prime minister. It's a beautiful thing to see. But they really helped us with this deal. They were, they knew the Iranians, they knew the people, and they were good. You have leaders in, you have so many different types. For the most part, if you're a smart person, you can understand, you have to be in these positions. You have to be smart. You have to be tough, maybe smart even more so, but the combination is probably better. But there are a lot of great leaders out there, and there are a lot of really bad ones.
Okay, well, let's talk about that.
Who's the bad one?
Who are the two weakest?
Well, I can't say that because
you're the president.
I can't say. I will tell you though that
I mean, bro, you just spent about a good 5 minutes glazing India and China. I mean, bro, you might as well talk about who you don't like.
This couple of days was interesting. It was held in France, and Emmanuel Macron of France, who won't be there that much longer, he's the president, and he was, I'll tell you what, he did a great job of hosting the G7, really good. No games, no nothing. And he invited me about a week before. He said, would you do me a favor? Would you come into Paris? We'd like to honor you. I view it as honoring the nation. But he said, I'd like to honor you. And he had the biggest people in Europe there and beyond. I mean, some people in Versailles.
What's so crazy?
And I was sort of...
I seen somebody in the chat say, oh, the survey results tells who watched this channel. It's crazy. Actually, this is more of a conservative, right-leaning channel. But it's kind of funny, though. It's like, you don't think it has anything to do with the fact that he got into a war that he said he would never get into? You don't think it has anything to do with the fact that because of this war he got into, inflation went from 2.4 to 4.2? You don't think it has anything to do with that? Are you sure that it's not because, I'm be real, it's not because we're leftists. It's because we're not blind followers and we're able to hold people accountable, unlike MAGA. I'm gonna be real with you, all blind followers of Trump. No matter what he does wrong, you will blindly follow. He led us into a war that spiked gas prices, spiked inflation. Y'all said nothing at all. And here's the thing, I voted for the man too, but I can definitely sit there and be like, yo, I'm not a blind follower. If you're going in the wrong direction, I'm gonna call it out. And he was going in that wrong direction. I'm glad he's somewhat self-correcting, but guess what? He kind of pulled himself in a situation that it was way easier to get into than to get out of, because he's trying to get out of it, and Israel keeps trying to drag him back in. But Israel was the one pushing him in. So you kind of see why people are kind of upset with Trump. He got into a conflict that he said he would never get into. And then he got dragged into it by a smaller country. Did you not forget? Maybe I need to play this video again for some people because y'all be playing ignorant as hell to why people are against Trump right now, who voted for Trump. And instead of addressing it, you want to sit there and call us liberals. Well, look at this.
Hey, President Trump, how are those mass deportations going?
They said, you got to lighten up on this. We have a lot of heart for people. They came in illegally, but they're good people and they're working now on farms.
I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude.
Oh. Well, surely no new wars in the Middle East like you've campaigned on for years, right?
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. We should have never gone into the Middle East. We should have never gone into the Middle East. Under my leadership, we will turn the page forever on those foolish, stupid days. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. You're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me.
The United States military began major combat operations in Iran.
Donald Trump issued an ultimatum to Iran: open the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours or America will attack their power plants.
Why is the Pentagon going to ask Congress for an additional $200 billion?
So we're in very good shape, but we want to be in the best shape.
Oh. So why are we going to war with Iran again?
You know, if we didn't do that B-2 attack, Israel would have been wiped out. They would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks after that.
Because Israel was determined to act with or without the U.S., our Commander-in-Chief and the administration and the officials I just named had a very difficult decision to make.
Miriam gave my campaign, indirectly and directly, $250 million. She was number one. Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I can think of. But they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights.
Oh. Well,
But yeah, do you see my point, guys? Sorry, there a bit of a malfunction. But do you see my point? It's not that I hate Trump. It's not that I have TDS, and it's not that I'm a liberal. It's just that this man went against his promises. And you know what? I got people in the chat that sounds absolutely ridiculous. This is what I'm saying. Blind followers. Bro literally said, I'd rather pay higher taxes for a few months than let Iranian threaten our existence. Nigga, they never threatened our existence. Excuse my language, by the way. Damn it, that's one curse word. I'm 9 curse words down. But all right, they never threatened our existence. Do you understand that? They were not an imminent threat. Their missiles couldn't reach us. Their proxies couldn't reach us. The only imminent threat they were to was Israel. And Israel's problems should not be our problems. We should not be going into a full-blown conflict, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Because it's crazy how you don't want to call it a war, because Pete Hegseth called it a war. Donald Trump called it a war. Shit, even the pundits on Fox News are calling it a war. So what are you saying? But anyway, though, it's like, bro, here's the problem. Do you know Iran is about to get $300 billion, not from the U.S., but from the Gulf countries to restabilize their economy? Then they're going to get $12 billion if we could even get to the damn talks. I'm not even sure if they're going to get the $12 billion. But what was written in the memorandum of understanding that Trump signed, by the way, yes, giving $12 billion to the evil Islamic regime for sitting down and having a conversation. Did you read it? Did you read it? Because I read it. I went it all the way through, and I was a bit salty. Even though I wanted the war to end, I did not expect this to capitulate like this. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy how people are sitting there saying, no, this was the best thing ever. Nigga, how? How? Damn it, now I'm down to 8 curse words. How, bro? Tell me. So our inflation goes up, gas prices go up, fertilizer, food prices are about to go up too because fertilizer cost is through the roof, and farmers cannot afford fertilizer. Please tell me where this benefited the American people, and don't use your fantasy land. And please don't step out of the fantasy land that Trump and Pete Hegseth put you in first. Step out of it because it's not real. We didn't destroy their military, guys. They still maintain 70% of their missiles and missile launchers, guys. Like, bro, we wasn't able to move them off the strait, or we wouldn't be trying to sign a memorandum of understanding. This war was a mistake through and through. And you guys ain't going to get no better politicians until you can sit there and accept that mistake. Just like how I was grilling the left for sitting there, letting Biden be senile and run the government. Yeah, I'm going to get on Trump's ass too. But all right, though, let's get back to it.
I'm not going to do it, but he knew my weakness because I think Versailles is one of the great places. So I figured,
What's your weakness?
like places like Versailles. But no, it's incredible. So, and it's not something they do. I understand that they don't do that. They don't do dinners at Versailles. And we had a fantastic dinner. I think he did a fantastic job, I'll tell you, with the G7. I've seen G7s. I've been to a lot of G7s, and used to be G8s. They should have kept the G8. You probably wouldn't have the war with Russia and Ukraine if they did, but Obama didn't want Putin there. I guess one or two others also, but they wanted Putin out. It used to be the G8. Would have been much better if they kept it that way.
And I'll be real with you. Biden's handling of wars wasn't too good either. I mean, guys, you got to remember, like what? Hundreds of thousands of Palestinian children was killed under Biden because he didn't rein in Israel. Bro, because he wanted to support Ukraine and proxy Ukraine to try to get a dub against Russia, millions of Ukrainian lives have been lost. So trust me, both presidents have not handled war great at all. Like, we can't even sit here and pick favorites.
Shift to Iran. There's now light at the end of the tunnel for the conflict. What have you learned about not just the exercise of power, but the limits on your power as a result of the conflict?
There are no limits.
No limits.
No, not. I haven't learned that lesson yet. I know there are, but there are no limits. We defeated them totally militarily. I was asked by Pakistan, because they're close, to please not do any more. I said, I like them a lot. I think that there are no limits. We have the most powerful military in the world, by far. Who else could have done a blockade like that? I did a naval blockade where not one ship was able to get through. Some tried. They didn't, it didn't last very long.
And it certainly brought Iran to the table more than before. However, beginning a conflict, you had talked about you only wanted unconditional surrender. And the MOU doesn't look like unconditional surrender.
Well, but really,
unconditional surrender is like, that's not unconditional surrender. Remember how Trump was going from talking about, I'm going to destroy an entire civilization, these crazy bastards, to I'm about to give these crazy bastards $24 billion. And I'm also about to let these crazy bastards get funded $300 billion from their from the Gulf allies, which includes Egypt, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE. It's like, yes, all these guys are about to be throwing money onto Iran. And where do you think that's going to leave them? Like, guys, and we're also pausing all sanctions on their oil and petrochemicals. So let's not even talk about the potential earnings that we opened them up to.
Probably is unconditional surrender.
It is?
I think so. Look, they have no military. They're all at the bottom of the sea. 159 ships. That's what they have.
Sure, but they could still menace. They only had these small Gashti boats or go fast.
Yes, they got these kamikaze speedboats. So yes, they're drone speedboats that they use to crash into boats and blow up. Kamikaze speedboats. And then they also got speedboats that they got the little turrets on them that can also fire missiles as well. And that's 60% of their Navy, guys, according to the CIA. Yes, the speedboats, the kamikaze speedboats, and the ones they ride out on and shoot from, that's 60% of their Navy, according to the CIA. So, we didn't do anything. And let's be real, we took out the Navy, and how the hell are they able to control the Strait? I mean, they can't just do with just missiles and drones all day. So, no, they got their Navy out there still. And guys, if we took out their missiles and everything, then they wouldn't be able to lock down the Strait either. Like, there's two ways they're able to lock down the Strait, through their Navy and through their missiles and drones. And Trump is saying that he took out both, but yet the Strait is still closed. You see the problem here?
You call it what you want.
No, and the Strait was open, but now the Strait is closed. But the United States says no, it's open because we control the Strait. And we'll get into that later. But right now it is a bit confusing on what's going on with the Strait. And I foresee some missile strikes going into the Strait because, let's be real, it does sound like the U.S. is ignoring what Iran is saying, because Iran's closing the Strait because Israel struck Lebanon again. So because Israel struck Lebanon again, Iran has already put out the message that they are resuming the closure of the Strait, and the U.S. is saying, go fuck yourself. We control the Strait now. And we're going to see what that leads.
I hear the JCPOA, the Obama nuclear catastrophe, which was so bad. When Obama left, he didn't hit their military.
Sure.
He didn't damage their Navy or destroy their Air Force. I destroyed the Air Force. I destroyed their anti-aircraft weapons. That's why we were flying over there totally unimpeded. We turned off all the stealth. They couldn't do a damn thing. He didn't do any of that stuff. He didn't kill their leadership. I did twice, 2.5 times to be exact. He didn't do anything to Soleimani. I killed Soleimani.
Yeah.
And you killed the Ayatollah.
And I killed.
Yeah, but you killing Soleimani, like, it was a good and bad move. Like, I respect the move because that was the leader of the Access Resistance, and this was the guy who they were mobilizing through. This was the guy that was handing out all the orders. So killing him was an achievement. Yeah, it was, when it comes to stopping the Axis of Resistance. But the problem is that aggression, that active aggression towards Iran, that's what pushed them into 60% enrichment. Like, we killed General Qasem Soleimani in 2020. A year after, Iran gets to 60% enrichment. Like, yeah, the more aggressive we are towards Iran, the closer we push them towards a nuke, it seems.
The
And a
Ayatollah.
number of IRGC officials.
And I sadly hurt the other Ayatollah, who I will tell you, I did not meet him, I did not speak to him, but people were speaking to him. But he's got a certain braveness because he was.
You killed the guy who gave a religious ruling against nuclear weapons. The very thing that you're trying to stop Iran from having, he was making sure Iran never had. You killed him. You put his more radical son in there, and his radical son is definitely running off vengeance because you killed his dad, his mom, his wife, and his daughter all in one strike, by the way. So when Trump sits there and says we got a more moderate regime, I'm like, no, bro, we don't. We got a more hardline regime who really don't want to work things out with us. Actually, the Iranians, from inside Iran, they don't like the memorandum of understanding. The only reason it's going through is because the president and the financial minister has convinced the Ayatollah, and they barely did it. They actually still want to go back to war with us. They still want to continue it because they believe that they can destroy our economy and make sure that we never go after them again. It's like, you got to understand what's being played here. And I know a lot of people thinking, oh, S.E.T, we're kicking their teeth in. It's like, bro, I'm sorry, but that propaganda is over. We signed a memorandum of understanding, pretty much giving them everything they want. Like, I'm sorry, does that even sound like we're winning? Like, what fantasy land are you living in? But all right, though, let's get back to it.
He's badly injured.
Oh, the second,
the son,
the junior. Nevertheless, all of those things being true,
you can't just say, "Oh, forget about."
No,
excuse me. I wiped out their military.
I don't dispute that.
For those people that say, "Oh, maybe I wasn't."
Shoot, I'll dispute it. I'll be like, bro, if you wiped out their military, then what's this memorandum of understanding? I mean, shouldn't we just be able to put boots on the ground? Military gone, right? Put boots on the ground, take their uranium, take out the IRGC. They have no military, right? Like I said, bro, nothing like. It should literally be common sense to see through what Trump is saying. He's low-key lying, and be real with you. It's either he's lying or he just don't know what the F he's talking about.
Tough enough. I've wiped out. I took out their biggest bridge because they showed up late at the meeting. They said that wasn't very nice. You know that bridge? That's the George Washington Bridge. I wiped it out in 3 minutes. I took out Carg Island, everything except one thing. I said, leave the pipes alone because, I'm not looking to damage the world economy. So I think we were very tough. The people that say, oh, he could have been tougher. The entire military is gone. Ready? Air Force is gone. Do you agree? It's gone.
Wiped out.
There's no airplane.
Yes.
There's no airplanes. They had a lot.
Yeah, but they still have their air defense system, though. So no airplanes, though. That's for sure. But here's the problem. Their airplanes was from the 60s and 70s, bro. They were never a threat. Like, that's why they didn't take them off the tarmac. What the hell? They're going to fight us with jets from the 70s? That's a suicide mission. Bro, those jets were left over from the Shah, from when the Shah bought them. So blowing up those airplanes meant nothing because their real military might stands with their missiles and hypersonic missiles that they have and drone capability that they was effing up the Gulf region with. Most of I'm gonna be real with you. They effed up the Gulf region with just drones. They effed up our military bases with just drones. They didn't even really throw missiles, honestly.
Out of them, 200 of them. They're all gone. Navy, 159 ships, right? All at the bottom of the sea. Leadership. Their first stringers, all gone, including Khomeini, the first one. They then put a new group in there.
And the first stringers were the guys that were willing to give up their nuclear enrichment. They were the guys that were willing to work with the United States. And we blew those guys up for hardliners, ex-IRGC commanders who don't want anything to do with us. Yeah, we probably should have worked with the old guy. To be honest with you, we probably should have worked with the 86-year-old Ayatollah instead of the younger one with, well, like I said, with all the vengeance in the world, because we took out his mom, dad, wife, and daughter all in one strike. I mean, you think this guy's more rational? Like, really think about that. Like, think about the common sense of this. Like, oh yeah, the guy that we just killed his mom, dad, daughter, and wife. Yeah, this is the more rational guy. Yep, that's him right here. It's like, bro, what? Okay, bro. Okay.
Very good, but very nasty. I dealt with them. They're gone. They're all gone. And we're dealing with the third group, who I actually think is the smartest group. And I actually think it's regime change, if you want to know the truth. It's these are different people.
How is it regime change if you have...
Because they're different people.
But you have Khamenei,
No, they're not. They're not different people. Actually, you know what? They kind of are. Yeah, his son's more extreme. That's the problem. Bro, there's Middle Eastern leaders and the government officials on camera going like, bro, the worst thing that can happen is if Maja Khomeini comes into power. If Ayatollah Khomeini's son comes into power, we got an effing problem. Guess what? That bastard's in power. And I actually want him gone, because I've heard a lot of crazy things about this guy and how he's like really tied in with the IRGC. It's like, I don't like that he's in power, but guess what? We got a more extreme Ayatollah. So when Trump says regime change, I mean, bro, I mean, if you want to call it that, but it's not for the best. It's not for the good. It's for the worse. Like, we got a more extreme guy, a more younger extreme guy. We took out all the old heads. We put in a bunch of YNs, basically.
You still have a lot of IRGC officials there.
They're different people.
All right.
Khamenei Jr. is different from the father.
You have a number.
And we have people that are much less radicalized than...
You know, so crazy. Like, if you don't think they'll use a nuke, you're crazy. It's like, bro, if you think they're going to use a nuke, you're retarded. Why would they use a nuke in their area, risk contaminating their own soil, their own water, and multiple other countries? Like, really think about that. And also, if they wanted a nuke, they could have went for it. What? Bro, I mean, real with you. They really wanted a nuke. They could have been had one like a while ago. Actually, they was at 60% in 2021, and they're still at 60% now. So if they wanted a nuke, why not make it under Biden when he was distracted? Actually, what's the point of a whole religious fatwa? What's the point of making a religious law saying it's a sin against God to make a nuke if you're planning to make a nuke? Oh, yeah, and according to our CIA, they have no nuclear weapons program, nor do we have proof that it was ever going through a nuke, according to the IAEA and our CIA. So all reputable sources pretty much saying they was never going towards a nuke. But here you are going like, well, no, they're going towards one. They're 2 weeks away. Nigga, they've been saying that for 2 decades. Yeah, 2 decades they've been saying that. And now I'm down to 6 curse words. I did say I was going to limit myself to 10 curse words today.
The previous 2 groups, of which I knew them both. But think of it. Oh, why aren't you tougher? The only way I can get tougher is if I go in there for another 2 or 3 weeks and continue to bomb the hell out of them, right? But what does that get us? The Strait of Hormuz will not be open. Let's say I did that. Let's say I decided to do that. It was a decision I had to make. So right now, our stock market is through the roof. The oil prices are tumbling. The oil prices are practically the same as they were before I started. The big difference is that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. They're never going to have a nuclear weapon. Okay.
Well, oil prices are looking way better than they were at the beginning. Like I said, $100 a barrel is terrible. But right now we're at $80 a barrel, so that's pretty good. But here's the problem, though. What was the pre-war price per barrel? $67. So we got a way to go, but we're almost there. And here's the thing. I'm not even sure if we're going to reach there if Israel keeps trying to pop off this war and Iran's about to close the strait again. I mean, and that's the reason why I think America is saying, no. F what you talk about. We're keeping the strait open, because if we allow Iran to close it again, oil prices will spike up again.
It's very clear and very simple. But if I were hitting them right now, when you stopped, if we're not going to put boots on the ground, okay? I mean, you don't want boots on the ground, right? If we're not going to put boots on the ground, probably the same people, they go deep into the caves. They're called granite caves. They're very powerful. They go deep in, and then when we stop, they'll come up, and they'll probably be the same leaders. So nothing. Okay, ready? When I knocked them out, we knocked them out so powerfully. We would right now have the Hormuz Strait would be totally closed. You would have mines all over it, and it would have missiles flying over $1 billion ships, and those ships will never sail. we wouldn't have oil for months. As long as you're dropping bombs, that thing is automatically closed because those ships cost $500 to $1 billion a piece. They're not.
Yeah, I know. That's why when you offered to pay for their insurance, bro, I'm pretty sure Scott Besson was looking at you like, no, we're not. It's like, what you mean we can't fund these guys' insurance? Bro, it's like $500 billion a ship, and that's not even including the cargo that we'd have to cover if anything happens. So no, we can't cover their insurance. So yeah, it is funny how Trump tried to sit there and say that, and well, that couldn't have worked. And also Trump came out, well, what was it, during one of his speeches, I think it was like 2 days ago, where he said, we were 4 weeks away from not having no oil, no strategic reserves left. And once our strategic reserves like ran out, guys, it was going to be a crazy price spike. Like you probably were going to see $6-7 gas.
Going to be sailing with.
Well, here's the thing, guys. We can't afford to keep fighting this war. Bro, we got 4 weeks left of reserves. 4 weeks. After that, we are cooked. After that, you're paying $8 a gallon, bro. You ain't going to have nobody to blame but your warmongering president and your warmongering self if you support the president still. Because this is absolutely insane. And Israel's dragging us into a war that we cannot afford. We are running low on gas. We're running low on oil. We're running low on munitions. All reported by our intelligence and our energy secretary, by the way. So what the hell do you guys think like we're going to do by getting back into it with Iran? Like really think about this. Besides further destroy our economy.
Okay, so just to finish, I just looked.
Oh,
oil is tumbling.
What's going on, Plug, man? Glad to see you here.
Their ships are roaring out of there. They want to go home. They want to drop. They're all full with oil. This is a gusher. I mean, we have 700 or 800 ships are leaving. But if I attack them, none of those ships are leaving. The stock market is way up, way up. You know, the stock market is up over the last 4 or 5 days when it looks like we're going to make a deal. Stock market's up thousands of points. Everybody's richer. Now, would you rather have that or be like some stupid people? I'd be honest with you. I lost respect for some people because
who'd you lose respect?
I don't want to mention the names.
Oh, you can.
But you know, hardliners. Oh, we got to take them out yet.
Well, what are you going to?
Let me tell you. And plus, I'm not looking to kill people. I have one primary wish.
Actually, no.
As president.
Yeah, dumbass. I already said that. I know, like, I'm talking to this homie guy. It's like, I was here 6 months ago, and this host was defending Trump hard. Like, nigga, where were we at 6 months ago? Do you remember? We was at 2.4% inflation. We was looking great. Jobs numbers looking great. I mean, gas prices, $2.98. Are you serious, dude? Do you understand how dumb you fucking sound even making that comment right here? It's like, yeah, because 6 months ago, we were on the right track. Then he gets into this war and everything goes astray. So, duh. Like I've been told everybody, yeah, I supported Trump through the election. I supported Trump through his plans. But when he went into this war, he walked back all the progress. Like nothing new, bro. Is this only you blind followers which irritate me? It's like you guys see Trump fucking up and you won't call it out. That's what irritates me. Or it's the liberals who sit there and be like, well, you supported him. And I'm like, yeah, you supported Biden during the genocide. It's like, shut the fuck up. You supported Biden while millions of Ukrainians, 100,000 Ukrainians were dying. And you supported him in funding that war. You said we must support Ukraine. Yo, dumbass, even change your profile pic to Ukrainian flag while you're also funding them dying. Please miss me with that bullshit. All right, let's go.
In terms of people, right. I never want to be the late, great Herbert Hoover. So this is the kind of thing that could cause a worldwide depression. Do you know that for the last 2 months, I've been taking many ships out there and nobody knew it? You know why they didn't know it? Because we knocked out their radar. We knocked out all of their defensive stuff, and they were unable to see. Last week, we had one night 25 ships, one night 22, one night 19, one night 21. So every night, for all these ships out. Oh, we should. That's how the people were saying, where is this oil coming from? Nobody knew. We'd leave at 1 o'clock in the morning, all lights off, and we'd have our Navy destroyers going alongside, and they had no equipment because we destroyed all of the equipment that would normally be, used to
See, and this is how you know I don't have TDS. For all of you guys who think I do, 6 months ago, things were on track. Like, I'm sorry, but look back 6 months ago, where was inflation? Look back 6 months ago, where was gas prices? Look back 6 months ago, we weren't in a war. Look back 6 months ago, we had way more munitions and we had 13 extra American lives. I swear to God, some people are really just that dumb. Some people are really that dumb, I guess.
Check this. And I went for a month and a half taking many ships out there every night at 1 o'clock in the morning. And we were never detected until about a week ago. And then I announced that we're doing it.
I think the New York Times had reported that you guys were engaged in that operation of 20 ships
maybe.
or whatever. I wanted to shift.
They shouldn't have. If they did, they shouldn't
Well,
have.
they had good sources.
I mean, that's not very patriotic if they did.
Well, I did want to talk about Cuba and AI.
We'll do it. And we have to do it fast because they're waiting for me at a very important minute.
So you had said if Cuba is, or better said, if Iran is finished, then it's time for Cuba.
Right.
Is there a countdown clock on Cuba?
It's a flexible line, but Marco is involved very much. Marco's doing a great job, by the way. All my people.
Marco has a hard on for Cuba. Like Marco Rubio, he's Cuban himself. He's always been like low key. Like I'm gonna be real with you, had a hard on for the Cuban government. He's always been wanting to get them out of power. That's always been his thing. It's like Marco Rubio is like the Iranian diaspora. They've always had a hard on for the IRGC. They've always wanted to get them out of power. And here's the thing. What kills me about guys like that, I'm just going to be real with you. I think like they're the biggest cowards ever, in my opinion. Why? You're like, damn, Seth, that's fucked up. But they are. I'm sorry, but you're coming over here to our country, a country that, remember, you left Cuba, you left Iran. Why the fuck are you coming over here trying to get us to fight your enemies that you left? Do not bring your problems over here. Leave your problems in Iran. Leave your problems in Cuba. When you come to America, you're an American now. You have American problems. Keep that shit over there. Don't try to drag us into y'all problems. Don't try to bring our troops into y'all problems. That shit literally pisses me the fuck off. I swear to God, it does. How dare you bring your problems over here and try to make them ours? But all right.
They're doing a very good job. But Marco's parents, it's such a great story. His parents were from Cuba. So you do agree I defeated Venezuela? Incredible.
100%.
I got him out of there.
How do you make the operation in Cuba look more like the Venezuela operation?
Well, the difference is Venezuela has oil, Cuba doesn't. Cuba has nice property and they have a nice shoreline.
Right. How do you make it look more like the Venezuela operation than the Iran operation? Iran operation took longer. Venezuela.
No, I think the Iran operation, in a certain way, it's much bigger, much more powerful from the standpoint of weaponry than Venezuela. But Venezuela is a very military state. They have a lot of soldiers. We went into that fort and they had thousands of soldiers in, and we went in with 201 people. And that was the pilot was very brave. He had his leg shot from underneath with the machine gunner who got who escaped a bad life, a bad death. So, no, I think that Venezuela, here's the thing. In Venezuela, it was so incredible, right?
Yeah.
And we waited and waited. And at the right time, I said, let's go do it now. We waited for the weather. We had to wait 6 days. We had some really bad weather. The pilot said, sir, we want to do it. We went in less than ideal. They didn't care. And it actually lasted 48 minutes. And this is an arm, they have a lot of soldiers. They have a lot of good soldiers. If you look at Iran, they've been doing this stuff for 47 years.
Hey, shout out to my man, Lunatic Libertarian. I just seen in my dog. He says all centralized systems are failed. And I appreciate the support, my man. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and give you a celebration as well. Razor blade. Man, all right, let's get back to it. Shout out to my man, Lunatic Libertarian, and all those who've supported and liked the video, guys. Make sure you're double tapping that screen and liking the video or smashing that like button, depending on how you're watching. Appreciate the support, guys. And if you could send a super chat, Rumble Rant, Venmo, or PayPal, guys. Appreciate the support. And of course, you send a Venmo or PayPal, that doubles support towards the call-in, and we can get some of you guys up here.
Taunting you and everybody else, all of the media, everything. They're very good with the press. They have a great fake media. And I put out a truth a little while ago. I said, if I had the white flag of surrender raised, and if they said, praise be to Allah, Trump is the greatest president, we hereby surrender, the New York Times would write that They won the war.
I'm sorry, but this man do be too funny sometimes. He said they just went out there and totally surrendered and said, praise be to Allah, Trump's the best president of all time. This would be a way better war. I'm like, trust me, dog. If they said that, I'll be on your side as well. Trust me. I wish that's how it worked out, but it didn't.
They've lost so much credibility. So it's a very different kind of a place than Venezuela. But Venezuela, we're running Venezuela with the people that we
do. You see the Cuba operation running similarly to the way
possibly
Venezuela?
It's possible. Well, there's another thing. These places are close by. Whereas if you look at Iran, that's a very long trip.